Good day, everyone. My name is Russell John Baginang. We are the Group 3. We here to discuss the psychological theory and studies on crime and delinquency in relation to Freud's theory. The presenter, Alzea Baliad, Perwin Testana Bahaw, and I, Russell John Baginang. August A. Horn. The work of A. Horn, entitled Mayward Youth in 1935, was perhaps most closely associated with the study of criminality as compared to Sigmund Freud itself. It posed the stressful social environment and did not automatically produce crime or violence. Um, Study of Ahorn, his theory kanang pasabot niya kay um, a child was exposed a violent environment and or crime environment. It engaged on her mind to make a crime sa iyang pagdako. Yan na. So, Ahorn felt stressed to produce crime in those two particular mental state known as latent delinquency. Through stress, it affects our mental state. So, tong giingon ako kaganina, if a child, ang child, ang bata kay nasa ang young environment more on violence, it is produced to stress or it feels kanang inability to feel a guilt, especially a kanang sayang environment nagaway ang mama ug papa yan na na siya pagdumot yan na tapos mapektuhan iyang mind. So mo na mga factors na ma-engage ang iyang mind to being a criminal. In some psychodynamics theory, depict the violence offender as the impulsive, easily frustrated of the person who dominated the events, issues occurred in early childhood. Ahorn identified two further categories of the criminal. First is those fully developed conscience signs but identified with their criminal parents, or anang ibig pasabotan na kay Juan, if mong parents kay criminal or nakita nimo kung unsa ilahang binuhatan, so ma-adapt nimo siya. Yan na. So, second is those be allowed to do whatever they like or over indulgent parent. So kung kuan, mo na siya kana kuan or pasagdan lang ka sa imong parents yan na. Walay pakialam anana. Kung sa imong buhaton, wala sila nag-guide sa imuha kung mali ba na or tama. So next, David Abrahamsen. Abrahamsen maintained the criminal behavior is the symptoms of complex personality distortion their conflict between ego, superego, as well as the inability to control the pressure and seeking drive. According to Abrahamsen, the personality reaction of the criminal are the nature comparable and those found in a disease. He also claimed that the higher of incidence of psychomatic disorder, A to B being a a criminal. Because of this influence is rooted by early childhood and then when forced to be reaction or familiar and the social stress. Next is Cyril Burt. Cyril Burt is studied on young delinquent published in 1925 gives general emotion theory. According to him, many offense trace either express delinquent particular instinct which account tendency of many criminal to be weak or will to be easy led. The fear of the abscos conditioning may be due to impulse of fear. Conscious type of the offender may be to Jew or delinquent C in the primary emotion or love and excuse to instinct of hate.
Hello ma'am, I am Perwin Tristan Embao and I will be the second reporter of this topic, psychological theories and studies on crime and delinquency in relations to Freud's theory. Now, as we continue at Dr. William Healy, Dr. Healy in his individual delinquency studies published in 1915 claimed that crime is an expression of the mental content of the individual. Frustration of the individual causes discomfort. Personality demands removal of pain, and pain is eliminated by substitute behavior. That is crime delinquency of the individual. Now, Dr. Healy and Dr. Boner in 1936 they conducted a study of 105 pairs of brothers where one was a persistent offender and the other a non-offender. It was found that only 19 of the offenders and 30 of the non-offenders had experienced good quality family conditions. Now, these findings suggest that circumstances within a household may be favorable for one child but not the sibling. It then proposed that the latter had not made an emotional attachment to a good parent, hence impeding the development of superego. Now, as we proceed to continue in Walter Bloomberg. Bloomberg, in his study on crime and the mind, published in 1948, noted that criminality is the result of emotional immaturity. Now, a person is emotionally matured if he has learned to control his emotion effectively and who lives at peace with himself and harmony with the standard of conduct which are acceptable to society. Now, an emotional immature person rebels against rules and regulations, engages in usual activities and experiences a feeling of guilt due to inferiority complex. Now, at Hans Eyck's theory, crimes and personality, ASEC suggests that personality is biologically based and that it has personality traits dimensions, namely extraversion. It refers to a biological need individuals have for high or low levels of environmental stimulation, determined by the level of arousal in person's central and automatic nervous system. It means that the people with high levels of extraversion have a low level of arousal, meaning they require more environmental stimulation to fuel their excitement in the context of forensic psychology. Now, this environment stimulation may include some criminal behavior. Now, neuroticism, it refers to the stability of personality, and high neuroticism score would represent someone who is more reactive and volatile and perhaps more likely to engage in offending behavior. Now, at psychoticism, it relates to the degree to which somebody is antisocial, aggressive, and uncaring. ASEX argued for there being a criminal personality which would characterize people who score highly on these three dimensions. Now, at John Bowley's attachment theory, this is Mr. Bowley at 1969, influenced by Freud's psychoanalytic theory, hypnotized that both infants and mother have evolved a biological need to stay in contact with each other. He believed that attachment behaviors such as proximity seeking are instinctive and will be activated by any condition that seem to threaten the achievement of proximity, such as separation, insecurity, and fear. Now, Bowley said that the relationship between the infant and its mother during the first 5 years of life was most crucial to socialization. The disruption of this primary relationship could lead to a higher incidence of juvenile delinquency, emotional difficulties, and antisocial behavior. Now, this is the concepts of attachment theory of John Bowley. Letter A, a child has an innate or inborn need to attach to one main attachment figure, usually the child's mother or parents. A child should receive the continuous care of this single most important attachment figure for approximately the first 2 years of life. The long-term consequences of material deprivation might include the following: delinquency, reduced intelligence, increased aggression, depression, and affectionless psychopathy. Now, the next reporter will be Mr. Baliad, and he will continue these psychological theories and studies on crime and delinquency in relations to Freud's theory. Thank you so much for listening.
Hello everyone, good day. I am Azia Bibaliad. Now we're going to tackle about what is affectionless psychopathy. So here in our topic for today, it is about the study of Dr. Bowlby or Robert and Bowlby. It is their study, and according to Bowlby, it refers to the inability to show affection or concern for others, a condition that involves lack of emotion development, lack of guilt, involves lack of emotion, and also the development of that person. So according to the study of it, it says that psychopathy, it is an ability to show that affection or concern for others, such as individuals act, that is one of the example, it is imposed with little regard for the consequences of their actions. For example, showing no guilt for antisocial behavior. So what is antisocial behavior? The example of it is the lack of empathy, skipping school, carelessness, impulsive behaviors, mood swings, minimal remorse for actions, social solution, intentionally hurting others, and many more. So it is characterized by covert and overt hostility and intentional aggression towards others. And it is the PDD, or it means that the figures of stages of or model of PDD. So one of the model of it is protest. The child cries, screams, and protests angrily when the parents leaves. It is one of the examples of affectionless psychopathy, or it is broadened to explain so that we may able to understand what is affectionless psychopathy. Second is despair. The child's protesting begins to stop and they appear to be calmer although still upset. Number 3 is detachment. If separation continues, the child will start to engage with other people again. So it is said earlier that inability to show affection or concern for others. So the child will not going to stop if her parents will not arrive. So the children will continue screaming or doing something that she or he may able to be treat well, something like that. The child's attachment relationship with their primary caregiver leads to development of internal working model. So study the 44 studies of Bowlby in 1944 findings. So before we go to the main topic, I'm just going to explain what is 44 sleep study. So it is the experiment conducted in a controlled setting found in London, the Child Guidance Clinic, where they collected interview and observation data. This study aimed to investigate whether the prolonged material separation led to juvenile delinquency in the children. So the juvenile delinquency, it is about minor crime that done by the young people or young adults. So what I've said earlier, it is then half of the juvenile thieves had been separated from their mothers for longer than 6 months during their first 5 years, and only 2 had such separation. He also found 14 of the young thieves, 32% showed affectionless psychopathy. Number 3 is he also found that 86 of the affectionless psychopath in the group of thieves had experienced a long period of material separation before the age of 6 years. Only 17% of the thieves not diagnosed as affectionless psychopath had experienced material separation. So his study is concluded that material separation deprivation in the child's early life caused permanent emotion damage. So that is why we need to take care of the children, because the children, if they go or they grow maturely, whatever they sees they done without the guidance of the parents, it may involves to committing crime or whatever it is. So whatever that their minds convicted them, they were easily tempted to done it because they don't have a proper guidance. That's why the 44 tip study of Bowlby, it is to find out what will going to happen of the children that's separated from his families, and those children who committed crimes, something like that. So Bufalcio, Harris, and Brown supported the material separation deprivation hypothesis. They studied 250 women who had lost mothers to those separation or death before they were 17. Number 4. Sheldon Gluck's Physique and Delinquency Study. Gluck study in 1956 of 500 delinquents and 500 non-delinquents extensively analyzed social backgrounds, home life, physical characteristics, intellectuals, ability, psychiatric states, emotional and temperament of the respondents and identified socio-culture biological. Number 5. Erikson psychosocial theory of development lead to the emergence of term identity crisis and believed that it was one of the most important conflicts people face in development. So thank you for your watching and listening. I hope you have understand our lesson for this day and have a good day, everyone. God bless.